Welcome to Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm stood in front of the central display, which has become a landmark for this event. It varies every year, we'll go into detail later. But the event itself has also firmly established itself on the calendar for events we car enthusiasts love. One of the main characteristics is the accessibility of everything and the access to the cars, and we'll try to show you how close you can get and show you some of the elements of the festival. We're here as Selected Car Investment for a very special reason, and we'll get back to that later. But for now, let's have a look at what the event is about. Welcome to Goodwood Festival of Speed.
This video is brought to you by Selected Car Investment, where we buy and sell only the best collectible cars. Check our website to see if your next car happens to be in stock, or contact us for off-market cars, or if you want help to find your next investment.
The Festival of Speed takes place on the Goodwood estate, and it is one of 3 large car events, very attractive each of them to us car enthusiasts. The Revival meeting, the Festival of Speed, and the Members meeting. But the Festival of Speed is the only one that takes place right in front of the main building, the Goodwood House. Beautiful building from 1600. The interesting thing about the 3 events here are they each have a slightly different character. Which one is your favorite? I'll not be the judge of that. But rest assured, each of them terrific events arranged by the Duke himself.
This year, the main theme of the event is the celebration of 75 years of Formula One. But the Festival of Speed embraces many other aspects of the motor car. From public launches of brand spanking new cars, over honoring Gordon Murray's spectacular career in automobile construction, to the shining chrome and brass in beautiful pre-war cars. And basically everything in between, including the rather popular mixed cocktail that is the Restomod, and hypercars, and rallying, and the Red Arrows, and much more.
Obviously, the main event at the Festival of Speed is the hill climb itself, taking part on the driveway behind me. There we had a Williams Formula One from the turbo era, and generally the cars, every single car going up this hill is just a spectacle to behold, listen to, and even smell. The concept is really simple. Standing start up the hill, 1.1 miles, something like that. Some of them are timed, some of them are not. Some of them are themed in badges, and some of them are not. But again, every single car here is a spectacle to behold, well worth a visit to the Festival of Speed. Well, I did mention the accessibility as one of the main characteristics of the Festival of Speed. And yeah, well, here I am. Where else can you get this close to a Formula One car and a legend of those, that famed Tyrrell 6-wheeler? And I'm in the middle of the Tyrrell compound here. At least 6 Tyrrells I can count. At least one of them a world champion car, and one of them actually trying to be started behind me. So we'll close this off before it fires up. And the beautiful thing about the Festival of Speed is that the cars are not only on static display. You'll find 140 Formula One cars here, and most of them are actually taking it up the hill in a moment, such as this lovely McLaren with the TAG Turbo V6 engine. Trust this one. I don't know what you could wish for more, except maybe for a Lauda car? Yeah, sure, we'll find you a Lauda car. And here it is. Well, one of them actually, because there's not only one, but this one is probably the most important one. Niki Lauda, one of my great personal heroes of the sport, drove this car to 6 victories and the World Championship in 1975. I personally love the aesthetics of these cars. Aluminium chassis, lots of bright, shiny aluminium details, and just overall a resolved aesthetic of the high airbox era, as these cars were called. They were later outlawed, and the cars went down to a lower profile, another look. Actually, Ferrari kept being competitive with Niki Lauda, so this is one of their great periods of the sport. Ferrari, that is the brand, the mark that has been represented throughout the modern story of the Formula One sport as the only mark of them all. Well, I'm here with two famous names in one car and one driver, Michael Schumacher's car and Lorina McLaughlin driving it. And I would like to ask, how did that combination come about, Lorina?
Well, I owned and drove James Hunt's McLaren M23, the World Championship winning car in 1976. And then decided to, which I raced for many years and raced virtually everywhere, including twice at Monaco. And then I wanted a more modern car. So I thought, who's the one to choose? And of course, Michael Schumacher, who else?
Well, and Michael Schumacher was famous for driving several cars, the Jordan, this and the Ferrari. You choose this one made by a fashion manufacturer. Is that a coincidence, Lorina?
Yeah, well, it is a bit of a coincidence actually, but I love fashion as well, obviously, being a female. So
that's very obvious.
It's it all counted to be together as being the one for me to choose.
Yeah.
And this particular era, before it went too complicated, the cars.
So I want to wish you the best of luck and see you on the hill. Thank you very much. What's special about this one? Well, yes, obviously I'm standing where the front wing would normally be. This one hasn't got one. And that's because this is from that era of the Formula One where the downforce generated by the underbody was so huge that a front wing was not actually deemed necessary. The Elise we just nerded about and this one are only 3 years apart. But look at the amazing difference in their appearance and their technology. This BT52 is characterized by having almost no underbody and instead a huge front wing. Both these cars were successful and only 3 years apart, I think. And that is one of the amazing things about Formula One. Huge development pace, hugely different cars in that period. All of them very exciting for the nerds. Well, as we've said several times, Goodwood Festival of Speed caters for all the history of the Formula One 75-year celebration. And I'm stood here between two of the greats of the early era. The Maserati 250F in its early incarnation, 1954 model, and in the later 1957 incarnation. An incredibly car. That car was successful over all the years and made famous by no less than Stirling Moss and Juan Manuel Fangio, amongst a few others of the greats of the Formula One history. Really, really, really pretty cars, and what a sight to behold. Of course, you cannot mention Formula One nor 75 years of it without mentioning Scuderia Ferrari, the one mark that has been with the sport over all the years and mainly as a very successful contender for numerous championships. And yes, they are at the Festival of Speed as well, in numbers in fact, but here we are in the most exclusive, dare I say that, area of the paddocks where the Corsa Clienti is taking special customers out in their Ferraris and having them taken care of by the Scuderia Ferrari themselves. This is Goodwood Festival of Speed on first class. Well, maybe you have had enough of those Formula One cars now. Are you one of those rare people where Formula One doesn't mean anything? Well, rest assured, Goodwood Festival of Speed covers other area of motorsport. And now I'm in the paddock celebrating the history of Colin McRae and some of his greatest cars, from the Ford Focus to the countless Subarus to other cars he's guest-driven. Well, it's called the Festival of Speed, so what am I doing here by a van? Well, there's a connection. Ford did start with the first supervan in 1971. They actually fitted a Formula One engine to the transit van, and they repeated that with the Supervan 2 and the Supervan 3. So there is a connection, and these are just about the most spectacular vans you are going to find at the Festival of Speed, and probably actually anywhere. Let's just touch upon the subject of electric vehicles. Some of you will actually probably think they are all boring, and there's just one short answer to that: no. Yet another fascinating aspect of motorsport is that of touring car racing. And of course, Goodwood has that covered too. I'm here in the paddock area in the BMW camp, and BMW are showing no less than 4 of their greatest touring cars. It's just a matter of picking your favorite. I'm here with Fergus Walkinshaw in front of one of the newest Restomods on the scene. So could you explain to me what a Restomod actually is in the great context of things?
I mean, the Restomods as a whole, it's a big movement at the moment, and it's taking a classic vehicle and redesigning it and re-engineering it into something better and more modern, and just making the best of the car and what it can be. There's a big range of Restomods. Some are going for electrification, some are going for more performance. We're going for a sort of a Super GT concept, which is something that's just as at home, putting on long miles across Europe and road trips as it is on the track. There's a real diverse range of cars out there now. And
well, as one of the newest to the scene, you also brought another aspect into play, actually, because you are spiritually connected to hot XJSs from Jaguar via your father.
Yeah, so my dad was Tom Walkinshaw, and back in the 80s they raced in the European touring cars, and at Bathurst with the Group A XJSs.
As I recall it, your father's touring car did about 450 horsepower.
Yes.
How much are you getting out of your Restomod XJS?
So the engine, the Supercar, is putting out 660 horsepower and 720 newton meters of torque.
And you're taking that up the hill later today and tomorrow, right?
Yes, so we were up the hill yesterday and the day before, and then we've got runs today and Sunday.
I wish you the best of luck, and I look forward to seeing you again, because actually we will be visiting TWR because of a special collaboration we have, which we are looking very much forward to. So I'll see you in your workshop and go into more detail with the car.
Yeah,
brilliant. Thanks.
Thank you.
One big difference between the Festival of Speed and the other 2 Goodwood car events are that the Festival of Speed also embraces the modern car culture. And one of the main entrances will send you directly into the Supercar Paddock behind me. Supercars, it does not get any better in the world of new cars, so let's go have a look on the current supercars. And here we are in the Supercar Paddock. What is a supercar, you might ask? Well, that is something you can really talk with your friends about, enjoy the discussion, because that formula is not set in stone, as with the Restomods. I'm stood here in front of the GMA T50, one of Gordon Murray's creations, and that is a thing that speaks to his genius. Gordon Murray is probably the only constructor to have several cars from the race car past running up the hill and presenting a brand new supercar in the Supercar Paddock. Well, all to be seen in one place here at Goodwood Festival of Speed. Did I just say that Gordon Murray was probably the only designer to have a car in the Supercar Paddock and running up the hill? I stand corrected. I'm by the Aston Martin Valkyrie, famously designed by Adrian Newey, and I guess he has a couple of cars running up the hill as well in the race car categories. I correct myself, sorry. One of the themes of this year's Festival of Speed is the 60 years of car construction of Gordon Murray. And again, when Goodwood chooses to focus on a theme, they do it properly. So where else would you find something like the old ITM from 1972 next to one of Murray's greatest hits, and maybe one of the greatest road cars ever, arguably the McLaren F1. And with a lot of Murray cars, the devil lies in the detail. So on this old 72 car, this is apparently the first car to feature rising rate full rod suspension. And this is a road car from 1972, and a great example of how ideas evolve in Murray's head, because this type of suspension was later used on the Brabham BT44 Formula One car. And wait a minute, could that be a car that would also happen to be here? Let's find out. Well, who would have thought that? The BT44, so of course it's here. We're celebrating 75 years of the Formula One history and the genius brilliance of Gordon Murray. And true story, it turns out this exact suspension on the front is the same system as on the IGM from 1972. What a story, you can see it all here, I guess, and only here. Well, amongst the amazing things of Goodwood is the legends you meet, and they are not only cars. I'm here with Derek Bell, which I guess you could be described as being the local boy.
Well, I'm certainly the old model. Yes, that's right.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines that you won your first race here at Goodwood in 1964.
Yeah, March the 13th, 1964. We finished the car at like 11 o'clock at night, miserable weather. And I went out to run the engine in because it had never done a mile. And we brought the car in and I was drowned. And the next morning my partner brought the car up so I could keep dry until I got in the car. And it was a members meeting. And somehow I went out and won the race. But it was the funniest thing. I couldn't believe it. He came round on the last lap and he put P1, L1. And I went, I don't believe it. And so that was it. And I won a lovely little alarm clock from Goodwood. And that was the beginning of my career, really.
It's not purely coincidental that we are in front of the Porsche 956 962s, which are some of my personal favorites.
I don't think I'm here under false pretenses. I mean, I did drive the cars a lot. I don't know how. I know I won 41 races in those cars here and in America. So the car did a hell of a lot for me. And I was just lucky to be in that right place at the right time and get the drives and have, you know, great teammates like Jackie Hicks and Hans Stuck and even Stefan Beloff, great young man who sadly had a very short life in racing. But the people that I went on to be with, and you know, it was just wonderful. I was just lucky and in the right place, and I did quite a good job, I think, although I always was wanting to do better. But I guess, you know, winning 41 races was fairly good.
I noticed when we had the little banter with Tom Kristensen before, you actually still are quite competitive, both of you.
Well, you never stop that with Tom. He is, I mean, all of us are competitive, and I have the greatest admiration for Tom. I mean, he makes us look like children, but then he's still young. I mean, I didn't sit in a race car till I was 23. And, you know, I was at Ferrari at 27, and then went on to a couple of miserable years in Formula One, really. And then went sideways into sports cars with Ferrari and then with Porsche. And so, you know, I was in that dangerous era with the 917s. And then, of course, the beginning and development of the Group C cars like you see behind, these magnificent machines. And I was just lucky that I was at Porsche during that era. And I think being one of the survivors of the 917 era, Porsche respected that and thought, well, we'll keep this guy on. And I did a lot of the development then along with Jackie and then along with Jochen Mass as the years went by.
You are such a great ambassador for the motorsport as a whole, so I thank you very much, and yeah, wish you the best of Festival of Speed.
It's my
so
pleasure.
Happy to have met you.
My pleasure, thank you so much, very kind.
Another characteristic of the Festival of Speed is that it attracts a lot of manufacturers showing off their newest, their history, their latest, and their greatest, and such as the W125 that's outside of the picture parked out here, the old car from 1937, a legendary straight 8 car. The newer Formula One car here from 2014, and here the 300 SL, not the road car, but the race car that actually did inspire the road car. This one from 1952, which famously later inspired the American Max Hoffman to do a road version, or make Mercedes do a road version of it. And then we have an absolutely brilliant race car and an absolutely brilliant race car driver waiting for us, Mr. Bernd Schneider. Thank you very much for having a few minutes to us, because I know you're a very, very busy man. As a Markenbotschafter für Mercedes AMG, you're driving a lot of different cars.
Absolutely, and I'm very happy being this weekend here in Goodwood Festival of Speed with our museum, because there I have the chance driving like the W125. This weekend I will drive the first time the C11. In the old days when I raced against the Mercedes, this was the car to beat, and it was so powerful. And now, tomorrow I can experience the power.
Well, we've had a look into some of the cars and they are so different. Everything is running up the hill. This is in the category of the most powerful cars, but it's also a ground effect car.
Absolutely, this was the area, beginning of the 90s, where the ground effect still was allowed, but also the V8 in qualifying mode, they had more than 1200 horsepower and 900 kilos. So this was absolutely a bullet. So this car was so excited to drive, because you had big tires, a lot of downforce and a lot of horsepower. It's absolute opposite to the car from 1938. It's also very powerful, 680 horsepower, but no downforce, no brakes. The drum brakes are not really braking. So these guys in the 30s, they were really heroes, because this guy was also very dangerous.
You will be amazed how many legends you will meet at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. And I was lucky enough to meet up with another one, and he just happens to be a fellow Dane. We'll keep it in English, Tom, for the audience.
Yes.
But Tom Kristensen, 9-time Le Mans winner, and you're here. We're here in the Audi camp, because that is a big part of their career. And I would say you're a big part of the success of Audi. How did that come about?
Initially, to join Audi, I was driving, I had my debut at Le Mans with a private Porsche, the years team, and then I joined BMW for a couple of years, winning Sebring, winning Le Mans, not us, but we had a retirement. And then I had this meeting with Dr. Ulrich, the head of Audi Sport, at the end of '99, when we really felt we should have won Le Mans with BMW. He showed me the drawings of this Audi R8 LMP1 car, and this discussion made me feel at home. So we quite early decided that was where I was heading. BMW weren't really happy. They couldn't understand why I was changing from a winning team to Audi. And but already a few months later, Piro Kristensen, we won at the 12 Hours of Sebring in USA, and there's actually quite a lot of people here around us who were working on the cars already back then.
And you spoke about power, and I've been listening to a lot of the spectators here, and they are fascinated by power. And you actually also drove the later very powerful Audis. How important is the power aspect on the hill here?
On the hill?
Yeah.
On the hill, it's. I would say on the hill, the sound is important. The power, the power you can't really use. It's very narrow, and you just want to get off the line, pretty cool, and then you drive it up. And we drive them in demo in that sense, but the sound and just the whistling from the turbos, they work like they did back in the day. It's really well maintained. So in this sense, it's just after a few meters, you feel back in the car like you were on a proper racetrack. And we have to say, Goodwood is the celebration of the heritage.
Yeah.
And we love that, especially now after retirements.
If you, as an enthusiast, which I know you are, should point to one car, what is your preferred car of these 4 Audi legends?
The Audi R18, when we won the World Championship and Le Mans in 2013, is the most extreme, the most fine and most, that's really a weapon you could drive with. But the heart is the Audi R8, because I have the privilege, every time the Audi R8 won, which turns to be 5 times, I was one of the drivers. And Audi at that time, the board of management decided to have an Audi R8 road car named after this car. And it's an open top, twin turbo, V8. I can't ask for anything more. And the resting around in terms of suspension, it's quite analog. The way you start and go, you don't need to have as many people as you will need with a hybrid car. You will need data, you will need a few different people to get everything into the right temperature before you can move. This one, I can fix it myself.
It's amazing hearing your enthusiasm for all the cars actually, and you can't take the race out of the racer, I hear. I hope you enjoy yourself, Tom, because when we watch, we enjoy seeing you. So keep on, and good luck when you go up the hill, I guess next time in this one. And now for the main reason selected car investment are at the Goodwood Festival of Speed. We are actually not running up the hill or showing a race car, but taking part in the Cartier Style Luxe Concours, another part of the Festival of Speed. And we've had an invitation for the Lamborghini 350 GT, a very special car. And in order to present that properly, we called upon a proper expert. So Iain Tyrrell of Iain Tyrrell Classic Cars will actually present the car and prepare the car.
Hello.
Hello! And I'm so happy to have you here, Iain, because we go quite far back with this car.
We do.
6 years ago, you and I inspected this car in an underground car park in Paris,
That's correct.
but it didn't look like this. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. How did we end up here?
Well, the deal was done. Obviously, the car was bought by yourselves, and then it was sent to my workshop, and I spent 3 years restoring it, basically. So, yeah, and here we are. So it was in red metallic, burgundy metallic.
Driving condition?
Driving condition-ish.
Ish, yeah.
And then we put a lot of new aluminium in the bodywork. And we also restored it and repainted it in its exact original color.
Yeah. And now we skipped almost an important part, because the construction method of this car is what is known as Superleggera method.
Exactly. Yeah, this was Touring of Milan, a famous Italian coach builder who unfortunately ceased to trade in the late 1960s. They patented a method of body construction called Superleggera, as you say, super light, and it's a steel frame underneath, and then beautifully hand-formed aluminium skin over the top, which means super light.
Yeah. And the class where this car takes place is actually called Curve Appeal.
Yes.
I find that name very fitting to this exact car, because there's almost not a straight line on it.
Exactly, yes. Even the glass is double curved, most of it, which is extremely unusual.
Yeah, and but it's also unusual, I guess. And the reason why we actually acquired the car initially was that it is a very early piece of Lamborghini history, and that's also why we called upon you. It's not your run-of-the-mill 350 GT.
No, this is the sixth production Lamborghini. Yeah. Very, very special.
And what I find very promising is that it seems to get along well with the audience here as well.
I think lots of people. I mean, whenever we've looked at this, there's always been people looking at it. So it's got quite a lot of attention.
And I think the color has a lot to do with it, doesn't it?
It does. I think so. Yes. Yeah.
And you would assume, this being a very exotic car, the color is also from a very exotic special blend from Lamborghini, right? or
dot.
Yeah.
Well, this was actually a Fiat color. There's nothing wrong with the blue metallic from Fiat, you know. It's but a lot of car manufacturers did that. They standardized. They took from paint manufacturers that were used in other manufacturers' cars. This was quite common, actually.
Well, famously, this car was inspired by what can we say? The less perfect qualities of Mr. Ferruccio Lamborghini's own Ferrari, but they did the same thing with the colors, didn't they?
They did. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I hear you are well suited and well prepared to present the car to the judges on the Sunday.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
So it will be wonderful if it wins a prize. We don't know. What percentage chance does it have? Well, there are some very interesting Touring of Milan cars here.
Yeah.
But, well, from my side, I wish you and us good luck.
Thank you. Likewise, Iain. Good luck.
The Cartier Style and Luxe Concours shows cars as different in genre as the Festival of Speed shows up the hill. From the oldest cars celebrating 100 years of the Rolls-Royce Phantom, over Veyrons, Alpinas and even vans. As it would not make much sense comparing a Veyron to a van, the cars are divided into 7 different classes. Our Lamborghini taking part in the class for Carrozzeria touring cars, aptly named Curve Appeal, which the 350 GT certainly has.
It's not easy living up to the beauty of the Lamborghini 350 GT, but tonight is actually not the cars night, but the entrance night. We are going to our black tie dinner. We cannot take you there, but rest assured we'll have a bit of fun tonight. Now we are on the Sunday morning on the 4th and final day of the Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm sat at what is known on the lower lawn in front of the Goodwood House, or rather the private side of the Goodwood House, and this area is the hospitality area for the entrance in the Cartier Style et Luxe Concours. Sunday is our big day, or rather the big day of the cars, and the judges will be going them over. There will be a grand lunch in the same very nice area, and the results will be publicized. It might not seem like it, but the atmosphere is very thrilling. We are waiting to see what the day will bring. No matter what, it will be rather beautiful here at Goodwood. Now the place is getting really busy. The judges are currently looking at the Ferrari 212 behind me, which is a car in the same class as our Lamborghini. And it sort of illustrates they have a difficult job as well. How can you decide between Ferrari 212 and the Lamborghini 350? I do not know. Maybe they don't even know. But we'll know in a minute how the decision comes out. This is the big moment. The moment we've been waiting for. The judges are now looking at our Lamborghini, and we hope it falls in their favor. As you can probably see, the shadows are getting long here on the lower lawn of the Goodwood House area. 4 days of Festival of Speed are coming to an end, and the results from the Cartier Concours are out. We were very excited having entered our Lamborghini into the concours, and unfortunately it didn't take the award home. That award went to an Aston Martin DB4. Are we disappointed? Well, not really. The Goodwood Festival of Speed is an event. It can hardly disappoint, can it? We've been here 4 days, seen cars, met people, talked to enthusiasts. I couldn't warmly enough recommend a visit to the Goodwood Festival of Speed. If you like this video, please do hit the like button, that helps our channel, and consider subscribing to it as well. And then I hope to see you out there for the next one.